So it's been some days since I've done anything in the online world, which feels weird to not do anything as someone who is a workaholic, a power machine. And you might be like, okay. So if you've been here for quite some time, you know that I quit. I had plans of quitting my job and getting a new job, but the problem was I didn't only want to get a new job, but I also wanted to do a career change. And I never took off in my old job, so I was able to accumulate a lot of PTO. A lot, like 1.5 months, a lot. And what happened was I made it to my last paycheck, which was the end of August. And I said, okay, we're in trouble. Because at that point, I didn't have a job. Actually, I lied. I'm looking at a calendar and I realized that the last day of the month was, I'm going to say it one more time, it was on the 30th. So, yes, I actually got hired before my last paycheck. But yeah, so I guess my mind was more like, my last paycheck's approaching, that paycheck's going to be used for a rent, and we need a job. This year has been so chaotic, so chaotic. Like, everything is going well, if you ask me, which is great, but it's just going so quickly. Like, the changes that have been happening in my life, it's just so much, so much. So what happened was actually in the middle of August, I actually got an interview, and I think I mentioned this in the previous audio, but I actually got an interview and they wanted to schedule me as a last minute interviewee, like literally in less than 24 hours, requesting certain materials and what they wanted me to basically showcase. And it wasn't a job in a new career, it was my same career, but just a different environment, which wasn't my plan A, it was more my plan B. And then eventually, when I said, okay, I accepted, I talked to the person, one of the supervisors on the phone. I said, okay, I'll show up for the interview. He asked me a lot of questions and, and then he told me what he wanted to see. And when I just sat there and I was like, I can't mentally do this again. Like, I cannot just go into the same career. And so I remember I planned to have lunch with my parents that day also. So I went to have lunch. I could not concentrate on what my parents were saying. And then eventually my parents just stepped away to do some stuff while I was having lunch with them, because they were the one who prepared the meal actually that day. So while they were like maybe in the kitchen, I said, like, I mentally made a quiet decision in my head and I said, I'm going to email and say that I already got hired, as a way of saying, I'm sorry, but thank you for your time, but I'm not doing this. Something I've been preaching this whole year is how to be patient. Like, patience is it. So fast forward to, maybe like 2 weeks later, actually more like a couple of days later, I sent out an email to a job. And I said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to hear back from them within 24 hours, because it's a job where, not a job really, but it's an environment that literally just takes anyone. So like, people don't like the environment, but it's a good way to get your foot in the door, right? And I didn't hear from them in 24 hours. So I said to myself, okay, maybe this is it. Like, changing careers is just not it. I'm going to have to go into the same career, just different environment. And then next thing you know, I get an email. No, I get an email? No, I lied. I get a phone call, but I didn't check my phone until like late at night. So I get a voicemail from that place, and they said that they want to talk to me and, review my credentials basically. So I called the next day and they said, okay, they'd like to schedule an interview with me. And then boom, I got the job, right? So again, like waiting, like it took them almost like a week to give me a phone call. So that patience skill that you need needs to be there. So I gotten hired, which is great because I've gotten first a job. They pay me more for this job than the starting salary for this position. So let's backtrack, right? So my new job is in a new environment and it's a new career. So this is something I have never done before. And the funny part is, like in the interview, they asked me like, why am I leaving my old career? And I just don't know how to explain. Sometimes, like, I just don't want to do it anymore, or I want to see what else is out there. Because my old job, like my old career, is the only career I ever done in my life. So, for example, let's say you only worked in the sneaker sections in, a department store like Macy's or Bloomingdale's or Nordstrom, right? Let's say you only work with sneakers, and then all of a sudden you want to go work in Amazon in the fulfillment center in like the warehouse, right? It's a whole different, like you have skills that transfer over, but it's just a whole different department. And that's literally what I was trying to do. So maybe that's not really the best example. Maybe it'll be more like you're a nurse and now you want to be a lawyer. Like, can you imagine like going to an interview and they're like, so you were previously a nurse, so now why do you want to be a lawyer? It's literally that what happened. So I got the job. There are some cons to it. There are some perks to it, of course. The cons are it's less pay, so I'm getting a huge pay decrease, and it's longer hours. And you might be thinking, what the heck? Why did you went from lower pay to longer hours? Like I said, my old job is great for those who are psychotic and can do high intensity stuff in short amount of time, and it just literally broke me. And I remember, like, for example, if you've been here long enough, you would remember that maybe there would be days where I uploaded like 3 or 4 audios in one day, and you would be like, wow, you're insane to do that. But you see that the reason why I'm able to do that is because my job requires me to push out a lot of things in a short amount of time that normally people can't do. So even though my new job is longer, it's like I don't have to push out so many things in a short amount of time. Like, first of all, I have more time, and two, there isn't that much product. So let's say I worked in the warehouse, right? And let's say I had 3 hours, and in that warehouse, I had to produce 40 items, right? It's insane to do like 40 items in 3 hours. But now in my new job, it's like, okay, I have 6 hours and only need to do like 10 items to push out. Like, it's very slow pace. My sister works similarly to these long hours. So she's like, I'm curious to see how you do in the opposite field. Like, now it's lower intensity, but longer hours. I can tell you one thing, I haven't taken a nap. So if you know me so well, whenever I went to work, I would take a nap and then boom, I would work on ASMR or music stuff. But now it's like I come home and I'm like, I feel at peace. So I decided to let my week of work just kind of flow and see. So I've been taking a break from everything I've done. I haven't done any music, any ASMR. It's insane. And I woke up, I have a clear mind, and I said, okay, let's go back to my regular routine of what I used to do. And here we are. So Serena is coming back in full force. Now let's talk about how Serena, the ASMR stuff I do, and music has really developed. And I mentioned this before, so just kind of a recap. First of all, it is for me doing ASMR at this point in my life. If you didn't know, or if you are curious to know why did I get into ASMR, I first started doing music actually as a hobby. I did producing first, meaning I made tracks And then eventually, when I moved out of my parents' house, I started putting vocals on my own tracks. So, because I had more freedom, I had more space, I had my own place, and I wouldn't have to worry about, like, someone opening the door and coming and saying, "What the heck are you doing?" Because if you think singing, like producing a song or putting lyrics on a song, is just like blah 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 and that's it. No, I repeat the same word like 20 times. Like, I'm repeating the same sentence. Like, it's a lot of takes. You see, I have to deal with this background noise. But yeah, so what happened was I started getting overwhelmed eventually at some point, and then I literally changed my way of production, and I still did vocals. And then last year in 2023, I hit a rut. I hit like a writer's block, a music block, where I would say, okay, I'm going to record music today, and I just couldn't get anything to work. I couldn't get the melody, I couldn't get the lyrics, I couldn't get the tracks. Like, nothing was working, and I was just so over it. I was like, I think I'm going to just take a long break from music. And literally, I was at the point of, I'm going to just quit. Like, I'm going to quit music. And eventually I ran into some like ASMR roleplay, and I said, this is something I can do. This is something I already have the equipment for. Let me just give it a shot. And boom, like, I did it. I've definitely explored so many different things with ASMR and roleplay, and I don't even know what direction I'm headed at. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, everything I have produced or done this guy is so rude. Oh my goodness, like, why are you honking? Anyways, everything I have produced or done so far in my life just molded into its own shape. Like, first you do the imitation feel, where you say, oh, I've been inspired by so and so, and you try to imitate their style. Next thing you know, you have your own style, and you avoid imitating anybody because you have your own style. And I'm really at that point. What I did not expect, which is insane, is I did not expect my music to start showing numbers, meaning like people actually listening to it. I think there's like 10K videos on TikTok, and I don't even remember the amount of plays I've gotten on songs. Like, I did not expect my music to actually start to get, the word is traction, right? TRACTION. I did not expect to get traction. I did not expect my ASMR to also at the same time build in numbers. So like, I'm in a situation. Anyways, I'm in a situation where everything has been just going up, and even me, like, leaving my job. Like, I picked the wrong time to leave my job, but it happened. I did it. It is way too many changes for me, and way too many boom, boom, boom. Like, we're going up the hill. But it's all positive stuff. Like, getting a new job, new career is positive. ASMR, positive. Music, positive. Like, I have so many things I want to do. I just don't have enough time. Like, I can't have these days be 24 hours anymore. But anyways, even if the days were longer, it wouldn't work out because I don't have the energy also. One of my big goals is to get out of this damn city because I can't take the noise anymore. It's just noise after noise. Like, I woke up at 9 a.m. and they were cleaning the parks, like mowing the parks. Who mows the parks on a Saturday at 9 a.m.? I understand it's their job, so I don't blame the workers. Whose brilliant idea was that? Like, maybe pick up the trash at 9 a.m. and then mow around 11 a.m. It's absolutely insanity. The airplanes, the sirens, the ambulance, the mowing, construction, the cars, the honking. It's like, I'm just done. And also the overpopulation. It's traffic and traffic and traffic. Like, if you think living in the city is nice, it's absolutely not nice. And I'm telling you from a person who lives in the city. And I always see online, like on TikTok or any videos, They're like, oh, I'm here in so and so, this beautiful city. And I'm like, boy, you're such a tourist because living in a city is horrible. It's more work in maybe like an office or an environment that requires you to look formal. And you're running in the trains with your, formal wear. You're so uncomfortable. It's dirty, it's musky. Like, there's nothing pretty about the city. Nothing. I don't even go to the city at all, to be honest. Like, I don't live in the major city, but my area is urban, so it's very city like enough. It's overcrowded. It's like you feel overstimulated when you live here too long, and I lived here all my life. I really want to go somewhere quiet. Now you see, I always have a picture of myself like living somewhere quiet, and then there's like a bear in my backyard, and I'm just so unfazed about it because the city person in me is like, it'll go away, even though they might be pounding on my door. But yeah, trust me, if you ever wanted to live in the city, it's just not it. You do make more money though, but then everything is more expensive. That's how life is. You think you're like, oh, I have a better opportunity. Everything's always proportional. There's always a catch for everything. The best thing to do in life is just to live, enjoy, be happy, and feel like you're alive. That's like the most important thing. I just hated my last job in the sense that I felt like death when I came out. I felt like, when you squeeze a towel to remove water and then you keep squeezing till it's like no drops. That's how I felt. Like, I wanted a job where you just squeeze the water but don't keep squeezing. It's I'm in a good place in my life now. The thing is, everything is going so well that I feel like I have too much to do now. Way too much. But I don't feel overwhelmed, which is good. And I've stopped making goals for myself, meaning if I say, oh, I'm going to do this and this, I'm just not going to claim it anymore. Because knowing me, I just cannot keep my word. It makes me sound like I'm a scammer. I'm not a scammer. It's like what I'm trying to say is like, for example, if I say, oh, I'll go out with you this Sunday, and then it's Sunday and I feel like death, I'm going to say I can't. I don't feel well. Because honestly, I just don't feel well. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the new way I'm going is I'm going to be very spontaneous, like on the spot. If I feel like recording today, I'm recording today. I just can't keep up with little goals or little, what's it called? I don't even know the word, but let's go goals. Like, oh, every day I gotta record an audio. I just can't do that. It's just not gonna happen. And I keep telling myself these goals to do. Like, I don't know why I do that. It's just not gonna happen. And I just need to like flow with life. But yeah, I will be getting back into the role playing stuff. And I still can't believe it's September 7th. Insane. I can't believe it's been 7 days, like, since September passed. But yeah, it's nice to get back into the flow of things. And I hope your life is all going well. Bye.